Hi, welcome back. Stop throwing away old coins. These tiny 1 cent pieces from Australia are secretly worth up to $100,000, and most people have no idea. Today we're revealing the top 10 most valuable Australian 1 cent coins that could be hiding in your collection right now. Number 1. The 1966 proof 1 cent coin holds a particularly special place in Australian numismatics. Being the first proof coin of the decimal series, it was part of the inaugural decimal proof set released by the Royal Australian Mint. The total mintage for the 1966 proof set was limited, with approximately 36,000 sets produced. Each set included the 1 cent through to the 50-cent coin, all struck to the highest proof standards of the time. Because this was the very first decimal proof set, demand was high among collectors both domestically and internationally. However, many sets were broken up over time, and individual coins, including the 1 cent proof, have become highly sought after. The coin's brilliant surfaces, sharp details, and pristine condition make it a standout piece for any serious Australian decimal collector. When it comes to value, the 1966 proof 1 cent can command impressive prices, especially in perfect condition. In today's market, a pristine proof 1966 1 cent coin graded by PCGS or NGC at PR69 decom can easily sell for $15,000 to $3,000 or more, depending on the coin's eye appeal and market demand. Complete 1966 proof sets in pristine condition often sell for $4,000 to $6,000 or higher at major auctions. The demand for this coin remains strong because it represents not just a collectible, but a piece of Australian history, the first decimal coinage produced by Australia's own Royal Australian Mint, marking a major milestone in the nation's financial evolution. Number 2. The 1967 1 cent proof coin. The 1967 proof 1 cent coin followed the same design as the 1966 issue, with the beloved feathertail glider and Queen Elizabeth. Dewey's portrait by Arnold Machine. However, the mintage for the 1967 proof set was slightly higher than the inaugural year, reflecting growing demand from collectors as the popularity of proof sets increased. Approximately 59,000 proof sets were produced in 1967, nearly double the 1966 mintage. Even so, these coins were still only sold directly to collectors and were not released into general circulation. Like their 1966 counterparts, the 1967 proof coins were struck with great care, using specially polished dies and planchets to ensure high-quality finishes. Despite the higher mintage, high-grade examples of the 1967 proof 1 cent coin remain valuable, particularly in perfect proof grades, such as PR69 decam. In today's collector market, a mintage proof 1 cent in top condition can sell for $1,000 to $2,000 individually, while complete 1967 proof sets often fetch between $25,000 and $35,000, depending on their condition and the quality of their packaging. One reason these proof coins continue to attract strong prices is the level of preservation required to maintain their flawless appearance over decades. Many proof coins have suffered from mishandling, environmental damage, or deterioration of the packaging materials, making perfectly preserved examples increasingly scarce over time. Collectors are always on the hunt for proof coins that exhibit perfect mirrors, strong strikes, and no signs of hazing, spotting, or hairlines. Beyond their market value, both the 1966 and 1967 proof 1 cent coins hold deep sentimental and historical significance. They symbolize the early days of Australia's decimal era and represent some of the finest quality coins ever produced by the Royal Australian Mint. For many Australian collectors, acquiring these coins is not only about investment, but about owning a piece of their nation's history, craftsmanship, and numismatic legacy. The appeal of these coins also extends internationally. Numismatics from around the world appreciate the beauty and quality of Australian proof coinage, particularly from the early decimal period. This global interest adds further strength to the market for high-grade examples, as competition from both domestic and international collectors keeps prices healthy and rising. Another factor to consider is that these coins are relatively accessible compared to some ultra-rarities in the coin world. while a 1930 penny might cost tens of thousands of dollars. These proof 1-cent coins allow collectors to own significant pieces of Australian numismatic history without breaking the bank, especially for beginning or intermediate collectors who are building a complete decimal proof collection. It's important to mention that both coins are frequently targeted for submission to grading. Companies like PCGS and NGC, where coins are certified and encapsulated in protective holders with precise grade designations. Coins that receive the highest grades, PR69 DCAM or even the elusive PR20 DCAM, carry significant premiums and are often the centerpiece of high-end Australian proof collections for collectors looking to invest, acquire, or simply appreciate the beauty of Australia's first decimal proof coins. The 1966 and 1967 proof 1-cent coins offer an incredible combination of historical importance, artistic beauty, and enduring value. As time passes, the number of pristine examples will only continue to shrink, making these coins even more desirable in the years to come. Number 3. In 1968, only around 71.2 million 1-cent coins were produced for circulation. While this may sound like a large number, it was a substantial drop compared to the massive 239 million coins minted in 1966. Because of this lower mintage, uncirculated examples of the 1968 1-cent coin have become significantly scarcer in today's market, especially in truly high grades. The majority of 1968 1-cent coins entered general circulation and were heavily used for decades before the denomination was withdrawn from circulation entirely in 1992. As a result, most surviving 1968 coins show significant wear, scratches, and environmental damage. Finding a well-struck, lustrous, uncirculated 1968 1-cent coin has become increasingly difficult, and collectors actively seek out these superior examples. In terms of value, a circulated 1968 1-cent coin is still common and may only bring a few cents on the secondary market. However, when you move into uncirculated grades, the picture changes dramatically. An uncirculated 1968 1-cent coin graded MS65 or better can easily sell for $30,000 to $15,000, while superb gem examples graded MS66 or MS67 by NGC or PCGS can reach $2,000 or more. Coins with full original red luster and flawless fields are particularly desirable and will command premium prices in auctions and private sales. The scarcity of high-grade examples is further amplified by the fact that few people saved these coins when they were first issued. While many collectors focused on acquiring proof or specimen coins, very few kept rolls or mint bags of uncirculated business strike coins from 1968. As a result, there's limited supply for today's collectors seeking top-tier examples. The 1968 1-cent coin remains one of the key dates in the Australian decimal series and represents an excellent opportunity for both beginning and advanced collectors to add a valuable piece to their collections, without venturing into the ultra-high price ranges of some other Australian rarities. Its combination of low mintage and scarcity in top condition continues to drive strong interest and steady price growth in the market. Number 4. The 1969 1-cent specimen set coin. Unlike circulation strikes, specimen coins are specially produced for collectors using a unique method that sits somewhere between standard uncirculated and foolproof quality. The Royal Australian Mint issued limited numbers of specimen sets in 1969, which included superior quality examples of each denomination, including the 1-cent coin. The 1969 specimen 1-cent coin is instantly recognizable by its brilliant surfaces, sharper strike, and beautiful satin-like fields that distinguish it from both standard uncirculated and proof coins. These coins were never released into circulation and were only available to collectors who purchased the limited specimen sets directly from the mint. The total mintage of 1969 specimen sets was extremely low, with only around 13,000 sets produced. This makes the 1969 specimen 1-cent one of the rarest and most desirable coins in the entire Australian decimal 1-cent series. Because of its limited production and superior finish, it has always been in high demand among serious decimal collectors. Over time, many of these specimen sets have been broken up, damaged, or lost, further reducing the number of pristine examples available in the market today. Collectors seeking high-grade 169 specimen. 1-cent coins often turn to certified grading services, such as PCGS and NGC, to ensure authenticity and condition. In terms of value, a certified specimen grade 1969 1-cent coin can sell for $15,000 to $18,000, depending on its condition and eye appeal. Perfectly preserved examples graded SP69 can reach even higher prices in private sales and specialist auctions. Complete 1969 specimen sets in pristine original packaging often sell for $22,000 to $26,000 or more, depending on demand and market conditions. The 1969 specimen 1-cent coin's appeal lies not only in its rarity but in its beauty. The satin fields, sharp strike, and elegant finish make it a standout in any decimal collection. It's a coin that offers both numismatic significance and aesthetic beauty, combining rarity with artistry in a way that few modern coins can match. As with many of these early decimal issues, condition is everything. The best examples have remained untouched in their original packaging for over 50 years, avoiding the common issues of spotting, toning, or surface damage that can diminish both visual appeal and market value. For collectors fortunate enough to secure a pristine example, the 1969 specimen 1-cent coin represents one of the crown jewels of the Australian 1-cent series. As we continue our exploration into Australia's most valuable 1-cent coins, it's clear that even these tiny copper pieces can hold immense value when the right factors come together. Low mintage, superior quality, and careful preservation. These coins may be small in size, but they are giants in the world of Australian numismatics. Number 5. The 1972 1-cent coin is widely recognized as one of the most important key dates in the entire Australian decimal series. While previous years saw healthy production numbers, the mintage of 1-cent coins plummeted dramatically in 1972, creating a serious scarcity that still drives collector demand today. In 1972, only 26.6 million 1-cent coins were struck for circulation, by far the lowest mintage of any standard business strike 1-cent coin in Australian decimal history. To put this into perspective, the 1966 issue saw over 239 million coins minted. The massive difference in mintage makes the 1972 1-cent the standout rarity for circulation strikes. Because these coins were intended for daily use, the vast majority entered circulation and saw heavy wear over the following decades. By the time the 1-cent coin was officially withdrawn from circulation in 1992, most surviving examples of the 1972 issue were heavily worn, scratched, and damaged. As a result, finding high-grade uncirculated examples is extremely difficult today. In average circulated condition, 1972, 1-cent coins may only bring $1 or $2 on the secondary market. However, when you move into true uncirculated condition, the value rises sharply. Uncirculated examples graded MS65 can fetch $8,000 to $9,000 depending on the strength of the strike, original mint luster, and absence of blemishes. Superb gem examples graded MS66 or MS67 by PCGS or NGC can sell for $13,000 to $15,000 or more, with some truly exceptional coins reaching even higher at auction. What makes the 1972 1-cent even more challenging for collectors is the scarcity of original uncirculated rolls or mint bags. Unlike more common years, there were very few saved at the time, making the hunt for high-grade examples especially competitive among collectors building complete decimal sets. For investors and collectors alike, the 1972 1-cent offers an excellent combination of low mintage, genuine scarcity, and strong long-term value. Its position as the king of circulation strikes ensures that demand will remain strong for years to come, especially as more collectors seek to complete high-grade decimal collections. Number 6. The 1981 Lighthouse Die variety. While the 1981 1-cent saw a massive production run of over 180 million coins, a small number were struck using a distinct die that resulted in a noticeable design Difference on the reverse side. The 1981 Lighthouse die variety gets its name from a small but easily identifiable die chip or flaw that appears to resemble a tiny lighthouse on the design of the feather-tail glider's back or tail area. This tiny raised blob of extra metal stands upright and creates the illusion of a lighthouse when viewed under magnification. The variety likely resulted from a deteriorating or damaged die that caused excess metal flow during striking. While minor die chips and cuds are relatively common on circulation coins, the lighthouse die variety has gained special attention because of its distinct shape, visual appeal, and scarcity. Only a limited number of these coins have been confirmed, making it one of the most desirable modern die varieties for Australian decimal collectors. Because this variety was not officially documented by the mint and likely went unnoticed by the general public. For many years, most examples entered circulation and were spent or damaged. Finding high-grade examples of the 1981 lighthouse die variety is extremely difficult, and most known specimens show signs of wear. In circulated condition, these coins can sell for $11,000 to $12,000, depending on the strength of the die chip and overall eye appeal. Uncirculated examples are significantly rarer and can command prices of $13,000 to $14,000 or more at auctions and among variety collectors. As awareness of this variety continues to grow, prices have steadily increased, with top-quality examples being aggressively pursued by specialists in Australian decimal errors and varieties. Part of what makes the lighthouse die variety so appealing is its crossover interest. While some collectors focus exclusively on standard date and mint collections, others specialize in die varieties and mint errors, creating strong competition for these elusive coins. The combination of an easily visible distinguishing feature, low survival rate in top condition, and growing collector interest continues to fuel demand. Number 7. In 1981, Australia was still actively producing the 1 cent coin for circulation, but the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra also struck limited quantities of proof coins for collectors. Unlike circulation coins, these proof strikes were made with polished dies and specially prepared blanks, resulting in coins with mirror-like fields, frosted designs, and razor-sharp details. The 1981 proof 1 cent was only available as part of the Royal Australian Mint's annual proof coin set. These sets were not mass-produced, like circulation coins. They were carefully prepared, inspected, and packaged for numismatists who wanted the highest quality examples of Australia's decimal currency. The total mintage for the 1981 proof sets was approximately 4,000. While this is higher than some earlier years, it is still extremely limited when compared to the hundreds of millions of circulation strikes. Unlike many proof coins that ended up being mishandled or improperly stored, the 1981 proof 1 cent coins that remain in pristine condition command strong premiums in today's market. As collectors increasingly seek out full sets of high-grade decimal proofs, competition for flawless examples has grown steadily. In terms of value, a 1981 proof 1 cent coin in original, untouched condition can sell for $7,000 to $8,000 individually. However, certified examples graded PR69 DCAM or higher by NGC or PCGS can bring $8,000 to $15,000 or more, depending on the coin's appearance, contrast, and preservation. Complete 1981 proof sets in pristine condition often sell for $25,000 to $35,000, particularly when the packaging remains clean and fully intact. What adds to the appeal of the 1981 proof 1 cent is its place within the broader history of Australia's decimal proof series. As the 5th full year of proof production, the 1981 set represents the growing maturity of the Royal Australian Mint's proof program. Each coin from these early years showcases meticulous attention to detail and the high production standards that collectors have come to admire. For modern collectors, the 1981 proof 1 cent offers an excellent balance of affordability, beauty, and long-term investment potential. As more collectors build complete proof runs, demand for these early decimal proofs continues to rise, especially for high-grade, problem-free examples. Number 8. The 1985 Business Strike 1 cent coin. This coin is a key date that often surprises even seasoned collectors with its rarity. By 1985, public demand for 1 and 2 cent coins was beginning to decline. The denomination still circulated widely, but the growing use of electronic payments, inflation, and general coin oversupply meant that fewer 1 cent coins were required from the mint. As a result, the Royal Australian Mint dramatically reduced production. Numbers for the 1 cent coin this year. The 1985 1 cent coin had a reported mintage of just 40,000 pieces, the second lowest business strike mintage in the entire 1 cent series, behind only the 1972 issue. Compared to the massive mintages of earlier years, this incredibly low production figure instantly set the 1985 coin apart as a major key date for collectors. Compounding its rarity is the fact that most of these coins were released directly into circulation. The Royal Australian Mint did not produce a significant quantity of collector rolls or sets that year, meaning that very few uncirculated examples were set aside at the time of issue. As a result, high-grade business strikes from 1985 are exceptionally difficult to locate today. In circulated condition, the 1985 1 cent coin remains fairly common, though even well-worn examples can sell for $20 to $50 due to collector demand. However, uncirculated examples in MS65 or better are extremely scarce and command serious premiums. In today's market, an MS65 graded 1985 1 cent coin can sell for $5,000 to $6,000. MS66 or higher examples, which are true condition rarities, can easily exceed $7,000 or more at auction or through specialist dealers. Coins that exhibit full red luster with no spotting, scratches, or wear are especially coveted. For many decimal collectors, completing a high-grade, business strike set of Australian 1 cent coins is a challenging task, largely due to the 1985 issue. Its combination of low mintage, heavy circulation use, and scarcity in pristine condition makes it one of the most desirable coins in the entire decimal series. Adding further interest, the 1985 1 cent is sometimes mistakenly overlooked by casual collectors because there were also proof coins issued that year for collectors. However, it's important to distinguish between the business strike, circulation strike, and proof strike versions. While the proof version is relatively more available in perfect condition, the business strike 1985 1 cent remains one of the most difficult finds in top grade. In many ways, the 1985 business strike 1 cent represents the perfect storm of rarity, low survival rate, and increasing demand, the very factors that continue to drive prices upward year after year. For collectors fortunate enough to secure a gem uncirculated example, it becomes one of the crown jewels of any Australian decimal collection. Number 9. By 1986, Australia's 1 cent coin was still legal tender, but demand for the denomination was rapidly declining. The effects of inflation, the increasing use of electronic payments, and the low purchasing power of such small denominations meant fewer coins were required in everyday commerce. As a result, the Royal Australian Mint made a significant decision in 1986. They did not strike any 1 cent coins for general circulation that year. Instead, all 1 cent coins produced in 1986 were exclusively struck for inclusion in official Royal Australian Mint uncirculated coin sets and proof sets. These sets were sold directly to collectors and were never intended for everyday use. This means that every 1986 1 cent coin that exists today originated from a collector set. The uncirculated mint set version of the 1986 1 cent coin was struck using business strike dies but with special care and handling, resulting in better than average quality compared to standard circulation strikes. The proof version, on the other hand, was struck with polished dies and planchets, producing the stunning mirror fields and frosted devices that collectors highly prize. In total, approximately 200,000 uncirculated mint sets and just over 80,000 proof sets were produced in 1986. While these figures are much higher than earlier key dates, it's important to remember that these were all set aside by collectors, and many sets have since been broken up, damaged, or lost over the decades. In today's market, a raw uncirculated 1986 1 cent coin from a mint set typically sells for $50 to $150 depending on condition. High-grade examples graded MS67 or higher can command prices of $4,000 to $5,000 or more, especially if fully read and spot-free. Proof examples graded PR69 DCAM by PCGS or NGC often sell for $6,000 to $12,000, while perfect PR70 DCAM specimens, though extremely rare, can reach $2,000 or more among advanced proof collectors. The 1986 mint set, 1 cent, is highly significant because it marks the first year that Australia ceased producing the denomination for circulation, beginning the final chapter in the 1 cent coin's production history. For this reason, collectors building full decimal date runs consider the 1986 mint set coin absolutely essential. Number 10. Now we arrive at the final major issue in the Australian 1 cent series, the 1991 1 cent coin, the very last year of production. Like the 1986 issue, no 1 cent coins were struck for circulation in 1991. All 1991 1 cent coins were produced solely for inclusion in official mint and proof sets, which makes them even more special. The 1991 issue holds a unique place in Australian numismatics because it represents both the end of the 1 cent coin's production and the official retirement of the denomination. Following the 1991 issue, the 1 cent coin was withdrawn from circulation entirely, and production ceased permanently. Approximately 130,000 uncirculated mint sets and 80,000 proof sets were produced in 1991, similar to the figures seen in 1986. As with earlier mint set issues, these coins were well preserved when originally issued but have become increasingly difficult to find in pristine condition after decades of storage. The 1991 1 cent coin has become particularly sought after not only because of its low mintage, but because it marks the end of an era. Many collectors want to own this final issue to complete their decimal 1 cent collections, and this strong demand continues to support steady price growth. In today's market, a raw and circulated 1991 1 cent coin from a mint set typically sells for $1,000 to $2,000 depending on eye appeal. Certified examples graded MS67 or higher can bring $5,000 to $6,000 or more. Proof examples graded PR69 DCAM often sell for $8,000 to $15,000, while PR70 DCAM examples remain extremely rare and can fetch $25,000 to $4,000 at specialist auctions. Because no circulation strikes exist for 1991, every surviving 1 cent coin from this year has always been a collector coin from the moment it was struck. This has preserved many high-grade examples, but pristine specimens without any marks, haze, or discoloration remain highly prized. The 1991 1 cent coin's significance extends beyond its numismatic value. It serves as a historical marker for the end of Australia's low-denomination copper coinage. After this year, both the 1 cent and 2 cent coins were demonetized, and the Royal Australian Mint turned its attention to higher denomination coins and precious metal collector issues. For modern collectors, the 1991 1 cent coin represents not only an essential part of any decimal collection, but also a piece of Australian monetary history. It closes the book on a 25-year chapter that began in 1966 with the introduction of decimal currency, a time when Australia fully transitioned from pounds and shillings to dollars and cents. As we've seen throughout this series, Australia's tiny 1 cent coin holds far more value than its face denomination ever suggested. Whether it's the 1966 and 1967 proof coins, the key date 1972 business strike, the elusive 1981 lighthouse die variety, or the final 1991 issue, each of these coins tells a fascinating story of minting history, collector passion, and hidden value. And that's why even a simple copper coin that many once considered worthless can now command hundreds or even thousands of dollars when the right combination of rarity, condition, and demand comes together. Thanks for watching and happy collecting.